Hi there. Welcome to Basic Ass Bitches, our third episode. Happy Sunday, sister bitch.
Thank you. Happy Sunday to you. I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah, me too. Even though I've had a cold for the past few days, so you might be able to tell that my voice is a little not usual, and I have my box of tissues here that I might be wiping my nose the whole episode.
Yeah.
So
She was feeling a little self-conscious about possibly picking her nose the entire time. She's like, I think that'll bring the tissues and, let everybody know that I'm not completely disgusting just on my own accord. I'm sick.
Yeah. Sometimes I am completely disgusting. Let's be real.
A lot of the time.
Indeed.
So what are we talking about today, Sammy?
So today we're talking about a number of things that may or may not have decent segues. But we're talking about body positivity, as well as body modification and how that fits into that. Mm-hmm. And then online censorship, and I think you've got some pretty great articles for us to explore around that as well.
There were a lot of things dealing with social media and censorship in the last year that came up when, so our guest, Karina Shiro, will be joining us. She's actually, I don't know if we told production that she's running a little bit late.
Oh, yeah, so she'll be ringing the buzzer.
Yeah, so just to let you know. She'll be coming in. She is an online influencer, and she has a following of hundreds of thousands of people.
I think 500,000 plus.
And she is also a plus-size model and has run a plus-size burlesque troupe called Femme Fatales here in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And some of the things that she's going to be talking about is her own personal experience around censorship of fat bodies. So I'm very excited to have this conversation and hear her story, and also share it with our audience, because it's kind of maddening.
Yeah.
And so she'll be joining us here soon. So let's go ahead and dive right in with some of the stuff that you wanted to share with the audience around these curated topics.
Yeah, so body modification is definitely an interest of mine. As you might be able to tell, I have like stretched ears. You can't see them because I'm covered up, but I have tattoos.
How many tattoos do you have?
Oh, that's a good question. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You don't just keep track of how many tattoos you have?
No,
really?
they're just kind of like part of me.
I feel like I would keep track.
I don't even know how many piercings I have, dude.
I've kept track of like how many people I've slept with. How
Oh,
have you
well,
not
I
kept
have
track?
that list.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that is a list in my
Okay.
phone that I have that I keep track of.
I know exactly where my list is too, and of course, it's not digital. It is written out longhand.
Shit.
Everything that I do is written out longhand because I have not switched over to the digital age.
I don't know
yet.
that you ever will, really.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean, maybe when it becomes a necessity of your life, like if they ban paper products like notebooks.
I know.
Or maybe at that point you'll start getting tattoos so that you remember
yeah, so I remember shit. Like, oh man, my brain's too full.
Yeah.
I think I'm there. I think I'm maxed out.
So our mother hates my tattoos and piercings. She despises them. And body modification is a fun thing that a lot of people enjoy. And so something I wanted to talk about today is sort of how far is too far, or is there a too far? So
I hope Mom is watching right now.
I hope so. I can be like, Mom, see, my body modifications are not that crazy.
You know what our friend Daniel talked to me about one time is like reaction videos. I would love to get Mom's reaction videos. Who's calling me during the show? I would love to get Mom's reaction videos to like looking at body modification photos.
That would be so much fun.
Oh my God, she's got the most judgmental face.
Oh,
it's awesome.
She's so judgy. It's fantastic.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, so we're going to be a little bit judgy on this show today. So let's get judgy.
Let's get judgy.
Okay,
Segment title.
Let's get judgy. So the first type of body modification I wanted to discuss with you, Kira, and with you, our audience, is waist cinching. It's something that has existed for a long, long time. I mean, this goes back to the Middle Ages, corsets.
Yeah, corsets.
Yeah. That's what corsets are for, is for waist cinching. And it's become more popular again recently. I think that trend was repopularized by the Kardashians. So we have a photo here to show you of the Kardashians wearing their waist cinchers.
Wow.
So yeah, essentially it just looks like a corset.
And is that what it is, or is it?
So it's not a full corset, because a full corset also like boosts your boobs up.
Okay.
And gives you a little bustier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a waist cincher is a corset without the bustier, and essentially what you do is over time you tighten it gradually.
Oh God, that sounds awful.
so that your body adapts to the shape of the waist cincher, and this can. I mean, it changes.
Will your body actually adapt, though? Because I was reading that it like bounces back and that it actually doesn't adapt, but it will create long-term damage to the internal organs.
Yes, it definitely creates long-term damage. There have been a lot of women who have like fainted as a result of wearing them, because your diaphragm is so constricted that you can't really breathe or get a deep breath. Is it time for the booze now?
Oh, I was just, no, keep going. Keep going. I was just like, why am I not drinking this thing?
Yeah, so
this is making me, I already know how uncomfortable I'm going to be during this segment. And so I'm like, shit, I should probably get the champagne out.
open.
So it's like, you know, maybe I can not be so uncomfortable during this conversation.
This is courtesy of my roommate, Mike.
Yeah, and it's okay, so we live in a dry neighborhood. And so it's really hard for us to get alcohol before the show, so I was like, oh yay, thanks.
Yeah.
So anyway,
pop those bottles. So anyway, I do have a photo also for of what I would consider extreme waist cinching. Can we pull that photo up for Kira to squeam at?
Oh God.
Oh God. So
are you sure that's not Photoshop? Oh my God.
So this is like essentially where some people are trying to go with waist cinching. Because, you know, there is the waist cinching that is just for aesthetic effect. Like, I want more of an hourglass shape. And I think that's where the Kardashians are going. I don't think that they're trying to go for extreme body modification so much as, like, I want more of an hourglass shape and I already got this big booty, so why not, like, show it off a little bit more?
Right. Which a regular corset would do just fine.
Which a regular corset would do just fine, yeah.
Or the Spanx, right?
Mm-hmm, yep, the Spanx do that as well. But there are people, as you probably know, who get a little obsessive about these things and go to the extremes, which, yeah, it does rearrange your organs.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound good.
It can cause a lot of damage.
Trauma to the body.
Trauma to the body, like digestive issues, breathing issues. I mean, there's a lot of organs in there. It's supposed to be a little wider than you want it to be, okay?
Than you want it to be. Yeah.
There's a purpose for all that space. Yeah, so no.
I just don't think it's a good idea. I know. I think that this is the pictures that were just up. Yeah, those are pretty extreme cases. I can't even believe that that's real. Mm-hmm. Like, I look at that and I don't believe that's actually
your spine would break.
Real?
I can't imagine the one in the beach picture. I don't think that one's real.
Yeah,
the one next to it, I mean, I have seen in women the way that those hips are like so rounded at the top when they waist cinch, because I mean, yeah, that corset doesn't go all the way down to the hips. So
well, and also that
like
you have your iliac crest there, and that's going to be tough. You're not going to cinch your bones.
Well, I mean, you can cinch your ribs though.
Yeah, I suppose you can. Yeah.
They're free floating.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and there's intercostal muscles that you can certainly cram together if you hate breathing. So what else is there?
Okay, so other body modification forms. This one's the one I'm most excited for your reaction of. Lip plumping. Okay, so lip plumping is don't do this at home, but I'm going to tell you.
Oh God!
I'm going to tell you how, but just
I wasn't looking at. I didn't expect to see that
do
right
it.
there.
So you take a shot glass, and you put it over your lips, And then
She's not telling everybody to do this.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it. You put a shot glass over your lips and then you suck all the air out of it, and it like pulls all the blood into your lips until you have like fish mouth.
Oh God.
Yeah, so the dangers of that are like using a shot glass, which most people do because it's inflexible, so it's not like it's gonna hold that shape, but also because it's inflexible, there have been instances of the glass breaking.
Oh my God.
And then having like shards.
No. And then you have scarring all over your mouth, and then that's a whole different kind of modification.
Yeah, that's a whole different kind of modification. Yeah, so other issues with lip plumping is that, I mean, you're gonna get hickeys around your lips. I mean, if you look at that photo, there is a hickey around. This is a before and after.
Yeah. That's really crazy. I wouldn't think that. I mean, how hard did she suck, and for how long?
I mean,
I can't imagine. I mean, because I've done I've sucked when I was little, and you'd hold the cup on
I was thinking about bongs. I was like, I mean,
bongs don't give
when
you a
you said
hickey.
I've done the, I was like, bongs? Giant
bongs. Yes, and I've the little plastic cups as a kid.
Oh yeah.
When you'd hold it on your mouth. I used to do that a lot, and I feel like I never got hickeyed by it.
No, you have to suck pretty hard.
Really hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you burst those
Doesn't
blood
that
vessels,
hurt? Do you think that hurts?
I think it actually, I imagine it feeling really satisfying until like the next morning when you wake up and you have like hickey all over.
Satisfying how?
I don't know. Like all of the blood coming into your lips, just like that engorged feeling.
I don't know. What? No.
Oh, no.
Okay. That engorged feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe I know what you're talking about, but we won't talk about that on the show right now. All right, what's next?
Okay, so another really fun form of body modification. Don't do the lip plumping.
Don't do this at home. None of this.
Go to a doctor.
Go to a professional.
A professional if you're going to do any of this. Don't do it at home. Saline injections.
Okay.
Can we pull up that picture for Kira?
Oh my God. He looks like a monster.
He does look like a monster. Some people want to look like monsters. While I was looking through photos, I saw images of people getting like implants of horns. So with skin injections, you can put in implants. You can see on the top of his forehead there, he also has a little horn sticking out.
Yep, right above his donut.
Yeah, so surface implants are a type of body modification as well. Some people want horns.
And there's no way he can see out of that left eye.
Yeah, and he just wanted a donut and a horn on his head. So
why?
So with
why?
I don't know. I mean, why do I shave half my head? Why do I have tattoos?
Because it looks good. You look good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, some people think they look good with horns.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, okay, so I guess when I say that, what I mean is like there's judgment in our society.
Oh yeah, totally.
And
I mean, there's judgment in us right now.
There's no way that looking like that is an advantage in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
because people are gonna judge you.
Because people judge, and like not like it's good or bad. It's just what's so, and like the more aware we can be about it, the more we can maybe look at somebody who's decided to modify themselves in such a way and say like, okay, that's cool. I'm still interested in getting to know you as a human being, as one human to another.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think that's also a really high expectation of what we're dealing with, today.
Yeah. I mean,
so
it's not super common to do things like extreme body modification, but I would say it's becoming more mainstream. Some body modifications that didn't exist previously or only existed in some small societies. I mean, there's, in parts of Africa, historically, they've lengthened their necks with rings. Terrible for the spine, causes a whole lot of instability and body trauma, but it's a mark of beauty.
The binding of the feet was another one that I thought of.
Was that in Japan?
I thought it
Or
was China.
China? I think you're right.
The binding of the feet, which is like high heels are our own version of that. You know, if you look at actually, I've worn high heels a lot in my life. I used to wear them all of the time. Now my toes go numb when I do it, so I just pick a few special occasions to wear heels for. But if you look at my feet, they're very like narrow and bound, and I think it's because I wore so many years of like those pointy high heel shoes that I wore all that time. So it's like,
I mean, it's all like
it's
there's
all over
so
the
many
place.
there's so many forms of body modification, and some are very mainstream, like stretched ears. I mean,
You better hope mom's not watching. I don't think mom knows you have stretched ears.
I know, right? I put essentially cones through ear holes and stretch them. I mean,
Did that hurt?
Oh yeah, it hurts like a bitch,
Oh my
dude.
God.
Dude, hurts like a bitch.
Why would you do that?
Because I like them. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is like, regardless of
You're like, yes, more pain.
more pain, it kind of feels good. And I mean,
I was going to share a story, but keep
that?
going. About pain.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's your story?
Well,
about
I went to a going away party, and they had one of those like whips with all of the, I forget what they're called. They have like a lot of the leather straps coming off. It starts.
Yeah.
What is it?
Tassels?
Not tassels.
I mean, there are tassels.
There's a kind of whip that has a lot of like the tassel parts of the whip coming out. I thought it started with an F, but anyway, So people were getting spanked at the party, and I was like, "Let me try this out." I actually liked it. It was really great.
Well, I mean, for a lot of people who do extreme body modifications, it can also be a very spiritual experience. The pain of it. I mean, I've seen someone be hanged by meat hooks.
Oh my gosh, I saw pictures of that once.
Yeah. And it's intended to be a very spiritual experience. Like, essentially, you meditate through the pain, and a lot of horn implants in the head are intended to be that way as well. I imagine some saline injections are probably for that purpose. Saline injections only last like an hour or two. Your body does absorb the saline, but if you're not careful, you can get a lot of infections from it. So make sure you clean your needles. Or just use ones that haven't been used before.
Do people inject saline themselves into themselves, or do they go to a professional?
Well, sometimes, I mean, either way. So a lot of people do at-home body modifications. I mean,
Have you ever considered injecting saline into your body?
Definitely not, but I do have a stick and poke tattoo.
What's a stick and poke tattoo?
Stick and poke tattoo is where a needle is dipped into ink and then stuck into your skin, and it's just one poke at a time to make the tattoo. So instead of like a tattoo gun that vibrates and a bunch of needles are going, and then you get a straight line, a stick and poke is one poke at a time. And I have a heart on my sternum that my friend Chase put on me. Yeah. But I trust them because they work with needles for a living, so.
Man.
So yes, use sterile equipment, have a professional do it. I had a professional do mine. Though it was at home.
You are way more studly than me. Full disclosure, I have like zero body modification. I have no tattoos.
If you were to get any body modification, what would you get?
Probably fake boobs.
Yeah.
Well, I like my boobs a lot, so I think that maybe I would do that when I'm older, or maybe after pregnancy. But that was always one where I was like, oh, those look kind of nice. Although apparently they're very, very dangerous and unhealthy now, so I would have to do a lot of research first. But I don't really consider it much. I used to. When I was very young, I wanted the dentist to give me braces so that I could get rid of my gap, because I have a gap between my two front teeth. And I begged him, and he said, "No, your teeth are perfect. We're not going to touch them," because I do have, I mean, not to brag, I do have a perfect bite. And, you know, a really great set of teeth. And every dentist I've seen in my adulthood says the exact same thing. So I'm very grateful to that dentist for not, you know, just answering to my whims of wanting to, like, have what everybody else has, which is these like beautiful, like straight teeth, you know, these teeth without any like holes in the middle, because now I don't have issues with my teeth at all. There's no overcrowding. There's no adjusting and moving. There's no like, I don't know. So I think that, you know, that starting to like have to love something about myself that was just not going to get modified.
Yeah.
I think kind of got me into the mind frame of like just kind of dealing with what I got, right?
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
And, you know, even now I do see like my best friend and my business partner have beautiful teeth.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, that like, I would like to have teeth like that.
To be fair, I like went through the surgery to get my web cut on my upper lip because my skin, my web, grew between my teeth when I was growing up. So I had a massive like Elton John gap. And I had that web cut and removed, and I got the braces to close up my teeth. They just reopened again, not as big because
you don't have
I don't have the skin there anymore. But I mean, all of that work to just have the gap back, and now that I did all that work, my bite is completely imperfect, and I have other issues as a result.
Like
so
TMJ,
like TMJ, and so. You know, body modification is not always the best way to go, even if you think like, oh, I would like to change this thing about my body. You know, it can come with many other complications.
Right.
Like, I would love to have a penis implanted, but that would have so many complications.
Would you keep your vagina?
Yeah, I would definitely keep my vagina. I would just have both.
Where would you put the penis?
Oh, well, the penis is located much higher on the pelvic bone than like where the vagina is like underneath and the penis is on the pelvic.
Would your vagina be like kind of like your balls?
Yeah. My vagina is like where the balls are, and then the penis would be on the pelvic bone. The problem with that, though, is...
this conversation took a turn.
And on that note... We do have to be responsible for time.
Oh,
so
yes.
Do you want to start talking about your subject?
Yeah. Okay. So these two topics may feel a little like discombobulated or not even discombobulated, like not really related.
Yeah.
But we chose them because, like I said, specifically our guest Karina is going to be talking with us about online censorship in the realm of like body positivity and body judgment, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the first things I thought of when when she said online censorship was what happened back in May of 2019, so just last year, with Alex Jones and InfoWars and how they were booted off of Facebook. And so I went back and looked up stories about it because I just remember hearing the debate on the topic of whether or not like Facebook can or should be the judge of what gets spoken on this essentially public platform, right? Or not, you know, and how do you as a company sort of navigate that censorship conversation. And so, you know, I was looking up some of the guidelines that Facebook follows. And they said Facebook spokesperson said that factors include whether the person or organization has ever called for violence against individuals based on race, ethnicity, or national origin, whether the person has been identified with a hateful ideology, whether they use hate speech or slurs in about section on their social media profiles, and whether they've had pages or groups removed from Facebook for violating hate speech rules. In some instances, when Facebook bans an individual organization, it also restricts others from expressing praise or support for them on its platforms, the spokesperson said.
Yeah.
So, my question to you is, you know, and I wanted to bring it up because I don't think I actually made a full-on, like, this is my judgment on this, right? And what do you think about Facebook basically banning hate speech from its platform?
I mean, I get it. I don't like hate speech either.
Right.
But I mean, Facebook is a publicly traded company. checked the stocks last night. They're about $222 each.
And apparently that's high. I know nothing about this.
I think they're higher than IBM right now. Means nothing.
Means nothing to me. I'm sure it does because Mark, my husband.
Oh yeah, it means something to your husband. But whatever. So they're a publicly traded company, and I mean when we have this discussion about like free speech, I mean, yes, if you're infringing on the rights of others, then you don't get that. But I mean, even if your opinion is ignorant and hateful, are you really infringing on someone's rights? I mean, if you're being violent or encouraging people to be violent, then maybe that's it. I don't know.
So I'll give you a little background on the
that?
Alex Jones thing, because that's a great point, Sammy, that you make. Like, are they inciting violence? Because I think that's sometimes where I want to start drawing my line is like, okay, they're inciting violence. There are things that are happening as a result of these people's like hate and lies. For example, I don't know if you remember the like Pizzagate, where I think it was Alex Jones as well, who basically said that Hillary Clinton was molesting children out of a pizza place.
Oh my goodness.
And then there was a shooting at that pizza place by a person who basically followed Alex Jones. So there was a consequence, a physical, dangerous consequence to the information that was being put out, right? And then the big thing, and I think the thing that ultimately pushed Facebook to do this with Alex Jones, is that for 5.5 years, Alex Jones had repeatedly pushed conspiracy theories about the tragedy in regards to Sandy Hook and the shooting of 26-year-old children.
Yeah.
And then also 6 teachers.
Wow.
So he was saying that was a hoax. He said it has inside job written all over it, called it synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured. Claimed the whole thing was fake, said it was staged, called it a giant hoax, suggested that some victims' parents lied about seeing their dead children.
But this isn't new. Like, conspiracy theorists do this shit all the time.
Certainly. But then the story goes on to talk about how these parents started getting death threats.
Oh my goodness.
And some of the parents had to move to several different locations because of these threats, because people are listening to this and thinking that, they are part of this like sham.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't this be like a reckless endangerment of some nature?
Well, Alex Jones is getting sued by the families now.
Good.
And he has had to pay already $100,000, not in a settlement, but from what I understand, just for not going to his court date. But they're suing for, I think, 2 different families for $1 million each, which, in my opinion, I think that they should be suing for far more than $1 million each.
I think they should be suing for this guy to be in prison.
Yeah, so that's so what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is like that's actually criminal.
Yeah,
you think
totally.
What he's doing is criminal.
Yeah, inciting violence and encouraging people to kill others, hurt others.
Well, there's the thing is like he doesn't actually say go, necessarily go grab your guns. Nothing in what I've seen.
Yeah.
Says that he like directly says that, and so it's like,
then it's like the people who are giving the death threats are the ones at fault if he's not actually saying like
right. And one woman did go to
these-
jail for 5 months for
Good.
death threats to one of the families.
Good.
So the courts are involved, and there is criminality inside of the death threats that are taking place. And is that enough? Is that enough to say, well, the person that is really like, and I don't even know that Alex Jones is at the root of the issue.
I mean, it's such a murky, blurry line of like what's right, what's wrong. Because essentially there is no right or wrong. We just make it all up. So like, who decides how far you can go? I mean, I guess Facebook. Facebook is the new god of the world.
Well, it's the public forum. Everybody's on it. That's where people, and not only Facebook, obviously, Instagram as well.
Like the
Instagram
information, The information we get on the internet is so siloed that nobody really knows what's true and what's not anymore. So how do we even make decisions about like what's okay and what's not when we have no idea what's even real?
Well, I don't know. But yeah, I think that I think this is really murky water.
Yeah,
and
it's very murky.
I think that generally because Facebook is, you know, because our government actually hate speech is actually what do I want to say? It's protected by First Amendment rights, like by our government. So, fact of the matter is Facebook, if it were, because I was putting it together, it's like, okay, well, it's a company that gets to basically set its own rules around this. But if it was like a government agency, they would have to allow this, right?
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was looking up another story. It's a perfect segue into this other story that I was looking at around Skokie, Illinois, right? So actually right around where we live. I think in 1977 there were these I have so many notes, you guys. There was
It's a good thing you highlighted all of them.
I didn't highlight all of them at all. There was a group who wanted to do a Nazi march through a Skokie community that are like basically the majority of that community were Holocaust survivors or, you know, descendants of Holocaust survivors. And they basically, you know, in January, here's what it says. In January of 1978, a letter to the Tribune months into a court battle over the group's right to march, Colin, who is the leader of the group, by forcing the Free Speech for National Socialism, that's what the name of the group was, issue in Skokie. We are fighting for our basic rights everywhere. The leader of Skokie's Holocaust survivor community has asserted that the sight of a swastika would be a devastating effect on those who saw loved ones march off to Nazi gas chambers. Sol Goldstein invoked a famed maxim. I don't know what any of that means. I also defend the First Amendment, Goldstein told the Tribune, but this is like calling fire in a crowded theater.
Well,
and then Jews
yes
are,
and no.
so listen to this also. So Jews are traditionally champions of free speech. They contribute generously to the American Civil Liberties Union, an organization that defends First Amendment rights on nonpartisan basis. But when the Chicago chapter took on Frank Collin as a client, the ACLU chapter, the Jewish members were outraged. I feel strongly that the principle of free speech must be defended, a woman wrote in a letter to the ACLU that was quoted in a Tribune column. But in this case, please let a non-Jew do the defending. You know, and so then it goes on to say that the ACLU at that time lost 700 to 1,000 members.
Well, yeah.
Because they were defending this, like, you know, right to free speech. In
The Nazi marcher?
The Nazi marcher, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many different perspectives. There's so many different humans, and yeah, I get the perspective of like, this is free speech and I can say and do. I mean, it's a peaceful march. If they're not killing anyone, if they're not harming anyone, like, I get it. I don't agree with it, but it is a right.
Yeah, so I guess it takes me back to my question, right? About like, if Facebook was actually like a government-owned entity, right?
Yeah, they would have to
then
allow
they would
that
have
free
to
speech.
allow the hate speech of Alex Jones and
you know,
others.
And you know, it's
I think.
it's a
I
slippery,
don't know.
It's a slippery slope when you start revoking images and speech from people's view to like protect them. Then it's a slippery slope to like what's going to be revoked next, what's going to be censored next, what's, you know, what are we going to be, you know, kept from? I mean, you consider all of the websites and social media forums that are banned in other countries, and it's like, is that what we really want, to not be able to Google search or talk to people on Facebook because they're banned because information we don't like is being spread, or information that's untrue is being spread? Like, put on your critical thinking caps and do some research and create an opinion for yourself, and like, fucking don't hurt other people. And
yeah, and we have a lot of conversation going on in our chat right now around this. Heimdall's Gate says Alex Jones is just their way in the door. If you support them shutting him up, then they'll shut you up next.
Yep.
if they ignored those 20 people and let them march, the police would not have shown up, the press would not have shown up, and we would not be talking about them today. They would have just went back to the woods.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a really great point. It was that the Streisand effect, right? Where it's like you try to hush something up, you try to,
but you make it louder, you make it bigger and
it makes
louder.
it bigger and louder.
Yeah.
And then Mark McCown says, a publicly traded company can ban or support whomever they want. The market determines the public's vote on their censorship.
Well,
I like
and
that. It's in
their,
quotes there.
their market prices have been going up since they've been doing all of this banning. So apparently people like it.
Yeah. Well, and also just recently, not to go on too much longer on the segment.
I know we gotta move on. We gotta bring our guest on.
Is our guest here?
Yes,
because,
she is.
Hell yeah!
She's in the waiting room.
Well, you guys, I mean, this is an interesting conversation.
We're gonna keep talking about this though, because as she comes on, this is
that's right,
big favored topic of hers. Mm-hmm. So
let's invite our guest.
Invite her on.
So long.
Oh my goodness, I love you.
So Karina Shero is a really dear friend of ours who is just freaking magnificent. She is definitely a Shero, that is for sure. For many women in, just in the world, like just spreading a message of like love, not only loving yourself, but like being a badass babe and not understanding her own strength here as she pulls the microphone out of the table.
So welcome, Karina.
Hey, Karina, how are you? Thanks for joining.
I am warm now. I was standing outside and I thought I was in the wrong town. I was like, oh my God, am I supposed to be like in Skokie or something? Oh my gosh. But it's all good now, so I'm fantastic.
You are fantastic.
And I love your bow tie.
Oh, thank you. I learned how to tie it last night.
Oh, you just learned it last night?
Yeah, I practiced it twice last night. Here, I'll move the microphone so everyone can see.
I thought it was a clip-on, but now I'm really impressed.
I like tied.
No, she came out with it like all dangling down. You know how they do in the movies when they're like tired after a night of fabulousness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you'll have to teach me because I have this I found at the thrift store this Ralph Lauren bow tie, but it's like not tied. So I'm gonna have to learn how to tie it so I can wear that too.
I can teach you
so
how to
get
tie
like
a bow
you.
tie. Yeah, I practiced twice last night, and then I did it this morning, and I was worried that I wasn't gonna remember it, and it was going to take me forever to get ready, but nope, it was like quick and
very
easy.
Professional.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel super dapper with it.
Yeah, you look good. Anyway,
Anyway,
enough of us telling each other how great we all look. Right? Karina, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you can make it. I just want you to give our audience an idea of what it is you do on a day-to-day basis and who you are in the world.
Okay. Like you said, my name is Karina Shero. I moved to America when I was 18 years old from Germany, which is something that we have in common. I mean, not the moving part, but your mom is German.
Yep.
And I am a model and also a fat liberation activist. And I'm pretty sure that I have the mic in the wrong place because you can't really see my face.
You just pull it down.
I need to see my double chin in all its glory. Thank you very much. So what I do on a daily basis, oh man.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny. As I was asking that question, I knew exactly what I was setting you up for. So, go in any direction you like.
Yeah. So, my job leads me into a lot of different things. For instance, something like this that we're doing today. I've been in movies. I've been on TV things. Generally, I have photo shoots, which my modeling mostly is in lingerie because I'm mainly a boudoir model. And so most of my day is spent half naked, which is delightful and my favorite way of existing.
Yes.
I also am a burlesque performer, and I co-founded the Femme Fatales, which is a Chicago local all-plus-size burlesque troupe. And my co-founder, Jezebeli, is right now in New Orleans performing at the Teaser Festival. And but I'd say majority of my day is spent dealing with people online. which not always as constructive as I would love for it to be.
So when you say dealing with people online, can I ask a little bit more about that? Like, what do you deal with?
So I'm just gonna give like every trigger warning known to man at this point, and give you a moment to click out if that's not something that you're in the place to receive right now. So basically being what I'm like my level of size is called super fat.
How do they categorize that?
So I'm like around like a size 26, 28. And so super fats are I think like a size 22 to like maybe 30, something like that.
Okay.
And beyond that, you're an infini fat. Before super fat is just fat and small fat, and then what we call straight size.
Small is that like skinny fat?
No. So like you two would be considered straight size.
Yeah. Okay.
And we really don't want to use the terminology like normal bodies because what really is normal is not really what people perceive to be normal. Existing as a super fat person online and existing unapologetically so, showing my body in a scantily clad way, it infuriates a lot of people. Because as a society, people are taught that they're entitled to an opinion of us. And everything in our society tells you that being fat is the worst thing you can be. Mm-hmm. And when there's somebody that is like living life to the fullest and is loving themselves being as fat as I am, it kind of like people's brains just explode and they just deteriorate and they don't know what to do with it. Because what do you mean? If not being fat is the end all be all, seeing a fat person having all the things and doing all the things that people tell themselves that they can't have, then they don't know where like their moral compass is anymore for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not able to feel superior anymore. And so that makes a lot of people very angry. And so they want to throw a lot of very vile things my way. Yeah. And so things like having people in my comment section talking about how many bullets would it take to kill me.
Oh my goodness.
So large of a person that it's going to take several bullets. People sending me all kinds of death threats.
Do they think you're made of steel? Because I mean, I know that you're like a superhero.
Yeah, I know. I was like, clearly they don't know how guns work.
And then to be told from people, oh, it's just jokes, but it's like, I'm a real person.
No, it's not jokes. That's like harassment.
Absolutely. And it's terrifying because...
Well, and it does incite violence, it's
absolutely.
Exactly what we were talking about just before coming on, It's
because it'll be people, it's a lot of times not just one person leaving a comment, it'll be people tagging their friends, like specifically with the one that I just referenced. It was this one guy that literally tagged his friend and was like, hey, how many bullets do you think it'll take to take her out? And then they're going back and forth speculating, and both their profiles of course are them like with like dead deers in their profiles and whatnot. I'm like, oh, so like you actually have the capacity to do this, right?
Yeah.
And so then I sent screenshots of that to one of the people's wife, and she messaged me back very angry that I need to learn how to take a joke and so on. And I was like, I just wanted to inform you that this is what your husband is doing online, but she was like totally on his side, and I'm like, all right, that's your choice.
Do you get to like report these things to? I mean, because I know that you've experienced being reported for much less.
Instagram doesn't give a fuck. Okay. Backtrack a little bit. Okay, so I have been on Instagram since Instagram was basically created. So back when it was an iPhone-only app where it was mainly for like artists to share work. And I was, at the time, I was getting my degree in interior architecture and design. And so I would share, like school projects and, art, whatever the fuck. So I've been on it since like its inception. And I created my follower base on way back in MySpace and Tumblr and all of that stuff. And then I like
you're dating yourself.
right? I know. Which I
was like,
do all the
oh,
time.
MySpace.
So once people, like the androids started getting like added, and then people started posting the pictures of themselves and everything like that, and I was like, oh, well, I have photos of myself, so let me share those too. And so then I got to like, I don't know, maybe 60K initially, in like the first whatever year or something, and then I got deleted, and then I created another profile, and then I got deleted, 140K, whatever, something like that, and it would just kind of progress like that. So right now I'm on my 7th profile, and this profile has been deactivated twice, and then I got it back, but I've been shadow banned for 2.5 years, something like
Can
that.
you tell us a
So
little bit
yeah,
about
what does that mean?
shadow
Shadow
banning
banning
is?
is. Yeah.
So being shadow banned means that your reach, the main thing is that it like hugely impacts your reach, and your reach is basically how many people are seeing your content and able to interact with it. So what Instagram does is it pushes my posts low in the algorithm, so I won't show them to a lot of people. I won't show up in the Explore page. I don't show up in a single hashtag. If you're like shadow banned light, you might not show up in certain hashtags. But like I'm at the point where like literally nothing, even the most obscure hashtag I would not show up in it. You can't see me in it.
Okay.
And then they just delete my followers. They'll like remove a photo of mine, and then just like 5 minutes later, I got 1,000 followers less. And they just do that all the time. So I'm like always hovering at the same number for forever. So in context, because I love numbers, not actually math, but just
just numbers.
just numbers. So let's say 5 years ago, I would play number games. So I'd be like, okay, how many followers can I get this week? So it used to be if I'd like post a photo and then just kind of let it sit there, I could gain about 500 followers in one day. But if I was playing a numbers game and I would like post a photo, go comment on like other people's pictures, maybe have my photo on like a shout out page or something like that, I could get 1,000 followers in a day, like
Wow.
no problem. That's when I had like maybe 60K followers. Now I'm at over 500,000 followers, but it takes me like 3 weeks to a month to get 1,000 followers.
Wow.
Because they're just constantly deleting my
And
followers.
Something interesting that I read also is that if people are reporting your images a lot as inappropriate, then the artificial intelligence, the AI, starts to learn those biases.
Yeah.
And so you don't even have to be reported anymore. It's just that like the automated.
Oh, it immediately knows. Yeah, so
Yeah.
what Instagram has instated, so they, which by the way, they didn't acknowledge that they were shadow banning people until like April of 2019. Like in April of 2019, they're like, we're going to be demoting people. And it's like, that's what a shadow ban is. And it was like, we're going to be doing this, but they'd been doing this already for like 4 years, you know? And so then, there's so much. I'm really trying to keep this condensed. Basically, like in the summer of 2019, I can't remember exactly which month, the APG union, I always get it wrong. It's the Adult Actors Guild Union, something like that. They protested outside the Menlo Park location of like the Instagram headquarters. Because obviously adult actors, they need to promote themselves online. That's a huge part of people's income, and they're constantly being censored and shut down. Whereas Kim Kardashian and the likes can be basically naked and just have a nipple blurred. And
Oh yeah, girl! I could
promoted,
post a picture of myself in a thong and just cover up my
Absolutely,
nipples,
yes.
and like
the Playboy
no issue.
site, not site, the Playboy Instagram, like all of these Instagrams, they're all verified accounts, and they get to do whatever they want.
I mean, I see sponsored advertisements of women wearing less than what I see you wearing in your photos. And
Absolutely.
your photos are gorgeous.
And they're well done.
They're well
Yeah,
done,
absolutely.
and they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. Definitely check them out if you haven't already.
So, again, the APAG union, they protest outside the Menlo Park location, and so an actual employee from Instagram actually sat down with them and I believe accidentally admitted to that there's a bot that's built into the algorithm Okay, now buckle up. It's a little hard to
follow.
Okay. So they have a bot that is built into the algorithm. The algorithm is what decides like how many people get to see your posts, okay? So this bot measures your skin to clothing ratio, okay? Now, the fatter you are as a person, the more skin surface you have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is why when I post photos of me in like short shorts and a button-down t-shirt and a cowgirl hat, it gets removed because I have a big-ass thigh. And they're like, oh, she must be naked. But like, no, I'm fully clothed.
Wow, I
and
didn't
so they
even know
remove
that.
these photos of me where I actually am fully covered, bathing suit photos and the like. Whereas if you're a very thin person, you don't have as much skin surface, which is inherently incredibly fat phobic. Now, I don't know if Instagram, if they are just so oblivious to the fact that fat people exist when they built this bot, or if they deliberately built it to be fat phobic, which that, I don't know that part.
That's speculation.
That's up for
It's totally
speculation.
speculation. But like this is mass. This is a big deal for you because this is your income. This is your livelihood.
Yeah, I'm making currently only a third of what I used to make like 2 years ago.
They did demote you.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that like I was on a trajectory like this basically with how much money I was making. So if you take like a stagnant month from 3 years ago, I'm making a third of that. Which if I would have continued on the trajectory I was going, I would technically have been making like twice as much I was making. So really I'm only making a sixth of what I could be making.
You should be making.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I just can barely post anything. And currently, if you go on my Instagram, which is unskinnyshero,
unskinnyshero on Instagram. Okay.
Unskinny like fat, and then shero like female hero. So majority of my most recent photos are me in clothes, which is boring as fuck, and I don't want to be doing that. It's kind of like the reverse, like a lot of times when people become famous, they get asked by like, some editorial magazine, like, let's do some risque photos. And they're like, I don't know, that might compromise my morals. For me, I'm like, oh my God, I have to cover up. What the fuck?
I'm compromising my morals.
Yeah, that is not genuine and
my
authentic for me.
morals.
Yes, that is not my self-expression. I want you to see all my roles. I want you to see my dimples. I want you to see my scars. I want you to see my stretch marks, like all of it. And like, that is the point of my work, is to desensitize people to this miseducation that they have received their entire life, that fat has to equal something bad,
right?
When it really doesn't.
Or something about that person that's inherent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like there's something wrong with you because of your size.
Exactly. And the reason why it's so I want to say violent that we are, because obviously this is not just impacting me, this is impacting everybody that's fat, and especially if you are, like if your fatness is intersected with another, what is it called? I don't know the word. Basically, if you are fat, black,
I was gonna say,
if you are transgender,
ethnicity, but trans is also something that gets shadow banned.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Queer culture gets shadow banned a lot.
Oh, hell yeah. Which, like, I'm pansexual and asexual. Yeah. So, like, I have that, on top.
Queer, sexy, fat girl.
So, exactly. Holla at your girl. Okay. But the more outspoken you are about those issues, the more they will also shadow ban you, and then obviously
and
eventually
you were very
delete
outspoken.
you. Yes,
you are. I remember the first time you told me about the issue that you were having with building up a base and then having it taken away and doing it again and having it taken away.
Yeah.
I just even listening to it for the first time, however many years ago you told me about it, I was pissed off for you.
Yeah,
and it's
really incredibly tiring,
awful.
and that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to tire you out. And and for me, like, I also struggle with a lot of, like, a bouquet of mental illness, and so it is really rough when you're constantly being shut down and censored, because it's it's not just Instagram, like. I've just given up on Facebook, like, because they're always, and even if I'm posting like clothes like this, they still delete me every time. Wow. Like, there's no point, but they'll leave fake accounts up, and I'll get to that in just a second. But Tumblr now, which was my main base, where I, built majority of my following, Tumblr, was it last year in October? No, it was 2 years ago in October, I think. Yeah, I think 2 years ago in October, they Tumblr keeps getting bought by different companies because they think they can save it, and then it keeps getting worse every time it gets sold. It's a disaster. But basically, a dead horse. Really. But basically, they which like Tumblr, let's keep it real, is like it's puppy photos and porn. Like that's what it is, you know? And so they just decided that they're going to censor Tumblr. Oh, I mean, it's
pretty delightful. I tried it out once and I was like, man, I could get addicted to this
shit.
Because it's addicting.
Puppies and porn.
It really, the thing with Tumblr that I love is, so when you create a post on Instagram, it is like stationary. So people have to come to your page to see your post. Unless they like screenshot it and reshare it, which now there's like better sharing options, but it used to like for, the last however many 7 years or whatever it was, you'd screenshot it, which then that depreciates the quality of your image, right? So basically you have to be like a destination. People have to come to your profile, right? Mm-hmm. But on Twitter and on Tumblr, you can repost and it is still your original post, which like increases your reach so exponentially and keeps it still. I mean, obviously people still steal your photos, and that's a separate issue. But when people reshare your post specifically, they can come back to your actual profile a lot easier. Mm-hmm. Whereas on Instagram, if somebody is like taking a screenshot, they can post it and not credit you at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I really love Tumblr. Is so easy for so many people to see your work. And just, you click the little reshare thing. Now, Twitter, I hate Twitter, because they, multiple different reasons. First of all, I have way too much to say, as you can tell. I don't need
those
a
limited
limit.
characters.
Fuck
and
that. Yeah.
That's actually, it's funny that you say that, because that's actually what turned me off of Twitter early on as well. I was like, oh, this is too much putting me in a box.
Dude, I go on a rant and then I'm like, wait, how am I supposed to shorten this? I'm like, well, I can take this word out and I can shorten this, like instead of Y-O-U, I'll just put a U. And then I'm like, wait, but this isn't even how I talk.
Yeah,
like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, and then somebody's going to yell at you that you don't have proper punctuation. It's like, okay, I'm on a character limit, bitch. Oh, my God. Lately, I've been having to be on Twitter as like a function of not being able to say or do anything on any other platform. I mean, like like I said, Airbnb banned me. Like every platform has fucked with me. Like everything, and I don't even know what happened with Airbnb. Like some fatphobic asshole or some whatever dude I didn't praise his dick pic that he like sexually harassed me with, whatever. Like somebody must have like emailed Airbnb and like said some wild shit. I don't know, but not only did they ban me, but they banned my best friend who like. We've stayed in the same place, and she sometimes pays with her credit card for our Airbnb listings. And they literally emailed us, and they're like, "Don't ever try to make another account."
Wow!
So, what the fuck?
So I have, just because. Oh,
and YouTube also censors. Okay.
We gotta start wrapping up. But I do have one more question, if it's okay if I steal the last question here.
Go for it.
And that is like, with all of the hard work that has gone into creating this career of yours. Mm-hmm. 7 different accounts. Mm-hmm. You've re-upped and you've done it again, and you've re-upped and you've done it again, and you deal with harassment, and you deal with these corporations that don't give a shit and just keep doing what they do. Yeah. Why do you keep doing it?
Yeah. Two things. First of all, I just got to get this out of the way. I was saying earlier that Instagram doesn't care. They keep removing my photos or my entire profiles because they say that they, want to uphold community guidelines and they want to keep Instagram a safe space. But that is an absolute lie.
Your boobs are so unsafe.
I
mean, they're exactly weapons of mass destruction. They constantly let people use my photos to either get money out of people to scam them. They'll be like, oh, we're having an X-rated naked cam show, whatever. Like, sign up and give me your credit card details. I don't do naked cam shows, just in case anybody ever messages you. I don't do that. And so they're getting money out of people, which then those people are pissed off because they've been scammed out of their money. And then they come to me thinking that I was the person that scammed them. And it's like, no, that's not me. And then people create profiles to like catfish people, to like have relationships with them. So I get messages from people that are like, hey, you know, I've been in a relationship with you for 3 months. Why did you never tell me about this main profile you have? And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Sorry.
I've never heard of you. Sorry.
Oh shit.
And so one of the times that happened, I was like, well, what's the profile you've been communicating through? And they sent me the profile information. I go there, and this person had been running an account for like, you know, I can't remember, several weeks, maybe a couple months, with all of my photos. And I kept emailing Instagram, like, you know, you guys need to delete this account. And I had all my followers reported, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward to 5 months into it. Instagram just very unceremoniously one night just gave me access to the account. And because I had told them, I'm like, you guys need to not only deactivate this account, but you need to send an automated message to all the people that this person has been contacting, because multiple people have contacted me that this person has been communicating with them. And I need people to know that that's not me. And you won't verify me because you're fat phobic as fuck. And so I need people to know that that's not my account. Anyway, so they gave me access, and it turned out this person was a older Arabic man, and he had been accumulating child pornography, like soliciting, you know, like just messaging a bunch of Instagram accounts that were, you know, underage and asking them to send nudes, which then some of them did.
Oh my goodness.
I had to, for weeks, I had to message, because this person had contacted hundreds, if not like 1,000+ people. So I had to message all of these people and be like, hey, this was not me. It is now me. I am sorry this happened to you, and know that your nudes are with some random stranger. I don't, you know, like, what do you do? You know, and Instagram gave me zero help. They never even had a person speak to me. They just sent me a bunch of automated messages, and then they just gave me access to the account. Like I said, they're just like, you know, here, you can update the password. And I did that, and then I had access. And they have like never, ever said anything about like, yo, we're sorry. Can we help you and assist you in any kind of way? They don't give a fuck, and they do this kind of thing all the time. Then also, when we're talking about reporting earlier, so like I get, like I said, death threats. I get beheading videos sent to me. I get tortured animals sent to me. I get, you know, the sexual harassment, people in detail describing how they're going to find me and rape me and kill me.
Oh, God.
And Instagram won't do anything about it. I mean, I'm like on the daily getting these kind of things, right? And Instagram won't even delete those profiles. I have thousands of screenshots of like, you know, what I was sent, and then Instagram's automated message that like, you know, we have determined this account does not go against community guidelines, so we did not remove, you know, Sexy Dicks 99. So they don't care. They don't actually care. And they just want to uphold, you know, a certain standard, because most of the people that work and own Instagram are, you know, cis white men, and they just don't give a fuck.
So then,
Back to the question of like,
why do you
put
up with
why do I
this?
put up with all of that shit? Well, we live in a world, like I said earlier, where people think that being fat is like the worst thing that you can be. And so fat people are discriminated against in a lot of different ways, especially in the medical industry. So fat people are denied diagnoses often, or are misdiagnosed, which that means that like fat people literally will die because they go to their doctor, they tell them their symptoms, and then their doctor's like, oh, you just need to lose some weight. Turns out you had fucking cancer, and then it's too late once they realize it, because your doctor literally just told you to lose weight.
Right.
And that happens constantly and daily and like right now. It's a very real issue. And then from there on out, we go into job discrimination, people not being hired in the first place because they're fat, or not getting promotions because they're fat. And then basically nothing in this world being designed for us. Chairs, airplane seats, like all of the, you know, the clothing industry. Just nothing is designed with fat people in mind. And fat people have money, and we want nice things, and we're very capable. And I'm sorry that people have been miseducated about us. But it's about time that they wake up to that. And so I am a part of like a movement online that is creating awareness around what fat people deal with, and to demand better treatment. And also, we're sexy as fuck, and you need to just get with the program. And so I'm here for the sexy portion, and to showcase that fat people can be badass and can be sensual and seductive and cute and all the things that were denied in media representation. And that's the thing, is that we don't get cast in movies. We don't get to be in ads. Have you seen a body like mine in a Victoria's Secret ad? No, you have not. And so the only place that we have...
But Victoria's Secret might get more sales if they did.
Oh, Victoria's Secret is going bankrupt.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because they won't have fat bitches. I lost my train of thought.
Back to why.
Oh, yes. Okay. So the only place that we have really to create this representation that is so needed is social media. And that is why it's violent that they are taking this away from us, because social media is the only place where we get to represent ourselves the way that we want to and need to be represented, because we don't get to be seen in the rest of media, or we don't get to be seen like in a proper representation. Like we get to be the funny best friend, or like the butt of a joke, you know? And somebody in a fat suit is not representation for fat people, just FYI.
Just so you know.
So you know.
So we're like, well, there's movies where there's... No, that doesn't count. That does not count.
Nope, that's being the butt of a joke.
Yes. So that's why, is because we need representation, and also because, there are fat children that commit suicide because they think that their life has no worth. There are people that, into adulthood and sometimes spend their entire life thinking that their life is less value. And let me tell you, you're so valuable, you're perfect, and you matter. And we have just been miseducated. Like, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. It's not true. It is not true. And that's why I do what I do, is because fat people deserve better.
Yeah.
We really do. And that's why I'm going to put up with all this shit forever and always, because there's always going to be some fatphobic assholes. And I'm really fucking tired, but I'm going to just keep going because I have to.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do in the world and who you are.
Absolutely.
So where can our viewers find you? Unskinnyshero on Instagram.
Yeah.
But you also have a Patreon account.
Yeah.
Where's your preferred
Which, like,
way?
I can't. The thing is that, like, we didn't have time to touch on this, but, like, obviously fat people are fetishized a lot. Mm-hmm. And so because I've been active on the internet for, since the dawn of the internet, basically. Not really. I'm not that old. Porn sites will take my photos and put them on their sites, even though I'm not I don't ever show my nipples or my vagina. I don't do anything sexually explicit. My work is basically picture a sexy Beyonce video, but in fat and no budget. So that's kind of like the work I create, right? And so people will steal my photos and put them on porn sites, which is hilarious, because then I found out that, like, X Hamster, which is like a huge porn site, they had videos of me and YouPorn, which is another, or maybe it was Pornhub, I don't know, one of them, basically had sent a DMCA takedown notice saying, like, you guys stole this from us. And I'm like, you all stole it. It's mine, and you all stole it. Like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway, so when you Google my name, is what I'm trying to say, is there going to be a bunch of porn sites that pop up, and it is not porn, but my photos are on there. Literally just, like I have YouTube videos of me, like, like how to make a bikini, and it's on X Hamster, and I don't fucking know why. Well, I mean, I know why, but, like, anyway, so just when you look up my name, just beware, be careful. You can, I said, mainly just go to my Instagram, is unskinnyshero, and that kind of can lead you to the other things. And then I think on Twitter, I think I'm Karina Shiro, and I've been a little bit more active on there lately, but yeah, it's,
and we'll leave your information in our descriptions as well.
Yeah, link to you. Yeah. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you for everything that you do in the world and who you are and all that you put up with for the sake of, equality for fat people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's definitely a voice that needs to be heard. I have many clients who I talk with about this very thing, and I think that what you're doing really creates a lot of good in the world. You know, the more people can just really look at themselves and love themselves and
Exactly.
be like, this is who I am.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like for nobody's saying that like being fat should be like the beauty standard. You know, it's just we want to have equal treatment. And when you create equal treatment for the most marginalized person, it helps everybody. And so when we are working on, body positivity, self-acceptance, fat liberation, self-love, all of those things, we're doing them specifically for fat people, but is actually going to help everybody.
Of course.
It's for everybody. It's
So it is for everybody.
I love that you said that. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah. Okay. So we are way over time today.
We are.
We're gonna peace out, and next week we won't see you because we'll be cruising the Bahamas
We'll be on
with
a
our
cruise
mama.
with our mom.
Yay.
But maybe we'll post some
we
from
we
the
purchased
cruise.
the internet on the cruise, so we can post some videos.
We
for
did
you.
purchase the internet.
Yeah.
We thought ahead.
So we won't see you next week, but the following week, which I believe is February 2nd, we'll see you back here at 11 a.m.
Yeah, we got a great guest lined up, so join us.
And thank you to 99 Perspectives for hosting us. Check them out as well. And subscribe to them, subscribe to us, subscribe to Karina Shero. And
Follow me on Facebook, Comfy Fitness.
Yeah, follow Comfy Fitness. And we'll see you here in 2 weeks. Peace, bitches.
Bye-bye.